traditional cures and charms to heal dumbness and avert the evil eye. No porters, no interpreter, no taxi. You carried your own burden, and very soon your symptoms of creeping privilege disappeared. Fog is a dreaded omen there, but lightning spells universal good, and parents hang swaddled infants in trees during thunderstorms. Salt is their precious mineral, and seashells are held to the ear during births and funerals. The base of all inks and pigments is seawater. Their sacred symbol is a stylized boat. The sail is a year and the mast a sloping pen. The hull a mouth-shaped keel, an open eye. At their inauguration, public leaders must swear to uphold unwritten law and weep to atone for their presumption to hold office, and to affirm their faith that all life sprang from salt tears which the sky god wept after he dreamt his solitude was endless. I came back from that frugal republic with my 2 arms, 1 length. The customs woman having insisted my allowance was myself. The old man rose and gazed into my face and said that was official recognition, and that I was now a dual citizen. He therefore desired me, when I got home, to consider myself a representative and to speak on behalf in my own tongue. Their embassies, he said, were everywhere, but operated independently, and no ambassador would ever be relieved. So that's the end of mine. I'm not going to call jokes.
Goodness, thank you, Mark. Well, enriching as the arts may be, nothing kindles my passions quite like the natural environment, but just occasionally poetry moves me deeply, and I hope the poems I've chosen to share with you today may move you. So I'm going to start by reading a couple of poems by well-known poets before I read a couple of my own. I'm going to start with a poem by Gerard Manley Hopkins called Inversnaid. This is so rich in imagery. I mean, if you feel comfortable doing so, you know, you may even want to close your eyes and just listen to the words and the images they conjure for you. Inversnaid. This darksome burn, horseback brown, his roll-rock high road roaring down, in coop and in comb, the fleece of his foam, flutes and low to the lake falls home. A wind-puffed bonnet of fawn froth turns and dwindles over the broth of a pool so pitch black, fell frowning, it rounds and rounds despair to drowning. Decked with dew, dappled with dew are the groins of the braes that the brook treads through. Wiry heath packs, flitches of fern, and the bead bonny ash that sits over the burn. What would the world be once bereft of wet and of wildness? Let them be left, oh let them be left. Wildness and wet. Long live the weeds and the wilderness yet.
Wow, depth of language in that, yeah? So, 1989. Sue, my wife over there, are going to a wedding in Northern Ireland. And it's not a good time to go to Northern Ireland. And we had to go to West Donegal, which is in the Republic, so it crosses the border. And I'm a Christian, so the words free and state mean quite a lot to me. And this is basically a poem called Free State. This one I've done. Oh, by the way, I met a security guard on the border who was about 9 foot tall. You're entering the Free State, as we say. West Donegal accent. It's 1989. And he's anthracite black-coated and capped, but grinning and no obvious guns. However, your local policeman was scared and neutralised you for the Empire at the national leader's request. Your murdered state gave me my free state. Though your rules are strict, no national interest, no on my side God, just love, and maybe for me, the Republic Ireland's sun invites me to conscience. Invite Joe back now.
Thank you, Mark. That was thank you for that. I'm going to read another poem by another well-known poet before I read a couple of my own. That's all right, thank you. So this poem's by Ted Hughes, and it's called The Thought Fox. I imagine this midnight moment's forest. Something else is alive, beside the clock's loneliness, and this blank page where my fingers move. Through the window I see no star. Something more near, though deeper within darkness, is entering the loneliness. Cold, delicately as the dark snow, a fox's nose touches twig, leaf. Two eyes serve a movement that now and again, now and now and now, set neat prints into the snow between trees. And warily a lame shadow lags by stump in the hollow of a body that is bold to come across clearings. And I, a widening, deepening greenness, brilliantly, concentratedly coming about its own business, till, with a sudden sharp hot stink of fox, it enters the dark hole of the head. The window is starless still, the clock ticks, the page is printed. Is this one of yours, Mark? Or
Yes.
another, Mark's going to read you another one of his poems now. Thank you.
Right then, so I'm going to try and change accent a bit. So this is the way I used to speak up until I was about 20 when I left South Wales. So I'm just going to read your introduction and get it a bit back like this. Now, is anybody here from South Wales? No. So I'm all right. So let's lighten this up then. I'm Welsh. Wales is really popular now, a bit Celtic and a bit cultural, and only a few hours from West London. You can get down the M4 past Swansea, and these high-end 4x4s loaded with those surfboards that surfers don't use, and very clean bikes that don't get out a lot. So at social gatherings, I get asked by English people, when I say I'm Welsh, do you speak Welsh? Now, I know, the old school nationalists made the language Cymraeg a sacred test, like cutting rock in half and finding the Cymraeg spelt through it. So, if I'm feeling kind, I say something like, well, Wales is a bit like Scotland. There are multiple languages. If not, well, have a listen. Lines on being asked, do you speak Welsh? Oh no, where do I start? I could start with, I am born and bred there, and used to keep, and up in rural Carmarthen, he used to go back from posh Swansea, except he wasn't Swansea, it was the Mumbles that he lived in. So this is a poem about childhood really. Now, as I was young and easy under the apple boughs, about the lilting house and happy as the grass was green, The night above the dingles starry, time let me hail and climb. Golden in the heydays of his eyes, and honoured among the wagons I was prince of the apple towns. And once, below a time, lordly had the trees and leaves trail with daisies and barley down the rivers of the windfall light. And as I was green and carefree, famous among the barns, about the happy yard and singing as the farm was home, in the sun that is young only once, time let me play and be, golden in the mercy of his means, and green and golden I was huntsman and herdsman. The calves sang to my horn, the foxes on the hills barked clear and cold, and the Sabbath rang slowly in the pebbles of the holy streams. All the sun long it was running. It was lovely the day. It was lovely the hay. Fields high as the house. The tunes from the chimneys, it was air and playing, lovely and watery and fire green as grass. And nightly under the simple stars, as I rode to sleep, the owls were bearing the farm away. All the moon long I heard, blessed among stables, the nightjars, flying with the ricks and the horses, flashing into the dark.
Thank you, John Wakely and Mark James, thank you very much. Now, our next guest needs no introduction, but I will anyway. Would you put your hands together, please, for Kate Garrett? Would you like to come this way, Kate? That's it. All right, thank you. There you go. Just don't trip on that cable, it's a trip hazard.
Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to read some poems for you as well. I'm going to start off with one that's based on a bit of folklore. My accent's a bit muddled. I'm originally from Ohio, but I've lived in England now longer than I lived there. And this is, I like writing poems about people who historically are quite obscure, and they couldn't get more obscure than this woman. She's known as the girl in blue because they didn't know her name for 60 years. So it's become like a ghost story and a bit of folklore, but it's historical as well. It's called For Josephine. She rode the bus, crossed state lines, dressed in blue on the edge of Christmas, where no one spoke her name. She said a speeding train would always take her somewhere. No russet splashes stained the blue of her dress, skin unbroken, where she lay smiling at the thought of heaven or Pennsylvania, hope concealed and settling in her porcelain skull. Still no one knew her name, this blue girl whose lips prayed their last as she ran for the train, ran for the tracks and flew, just once, to land at the feet of strangers in a station, to land in a grave belonging to the girl in blue. Here they say she hangs around, stuck somewhere between heaven and Pennsylvania, speaks with those who call her by her name. Thank you. Not very loud. Cars are very loud. This is a poem about being a baby goth. When you converted to vampirism, you took me with you like a schoolgirl crush and renamed me in her image. You carried your halo well, a wisp of cloud light through the pub window when you told me I belong in the chapel of bones, that making a pilgrimage to a town built on death would suit my medieval fixations. But with ink held under our tongues like cyanide, Camus, Pessoa, we hadn't grown up. Your voice was a needle skip around a pistol grip while I cider-drenched a wraith only I could see. We based ourselves on bloodstains, never let on we'd sun-bleach them to dust. We never let on these winding sheets were lifted from a well-mannered airing cupboard, the emperor's new shrouds, hiding inside them with hearts that still beat. Thank you. I have 5 children. This is a poem about the 4th one. I just think little kids are really magical and witchy, and well, I'm into that anyway, so I might notice it more. But my daughter, before she could talk, she loved animals, and she would make little noises at them, and she's very cute, and this is called Witchling for Saoirse. She chatters to cats, birds, foxes in breath and whispers, but real enchantment is found in certain grown-ups who would send most children into the forest with less than crumbs, who say she is charming in spite of themselves. Oh, I could just eat her, they cry, reminiscent of wolves, of gingerbread houses. But this creature with her two-tone hair and soul-pressing stare will not allow it. She reverses every legend, turns hexes on their heads, without a mirror, without an oven, without a circle of salt, without one poison apple in sight. Thanks very much. And on the same theme of children being strange, I was not a normal child. And this is about Halloween because it's autumn now and it's the best time of year. It's called Peanut Butter Moon. When I was 10, I was a ghost. A white painted face with skull-deep black ringed eyes that clouded the apple bobbing water like a drowning pool. The year All Hallows Eve tasted of graveyard dares and candy corn melting on the tongue. My double-digit age distanced me from the 2 big skirts of the glittering hippie witch days of 4th grade, the treasured pirate stripes and gold I wore out every other year before. I floated between tents and RVs, campground trick-or-treating, alone, pushing through maple smoke, guided by the glow of turning, burning leaves on bonfire beds, air crisp yet heavy like a caramel apple. Skipping down the spook trail, spying masked faces, blending with grey light, I emerged from the trees, one chocolate bar clutched to my chest like a dark moon medal, a consolation prize for coming back from the dead. This one, like I said, I'm originally from Ohio. Before I moved here, I met my first doomsday prepper, which they're quite common now for various reasons. But that was in 1999, and like this book is called You've Never Seen a Doomsday Like It, and so is this poem, because I was talking to Ian, who will be reading poems soon. We were saying there's always an apocalypse, and it has to be like the right kind of apocalypse. But like around the year 2000, obviously not everyone, people like this guy definitely were like, that's it, you better get ready. And I'd never met anyone like that before. He was interesting. You never seen a doomsday like it. He opens the car door for 2 sweat and dirt sculpted children with 10-cent hopes. Their earth scent rising as they root through decades of leftovers, synthetic dreams, once resting on every child's lips. Smurfs, Garfield, He-Man. My life at bargain prices, in stasis, this millennial cusp. And askew Rockwell, the boy and girl treasure hunting as the July sun makes toffee of the driveway, holds itself multiplied in each cell of each husk of the rows of green corn along the road from here to the village. He asks where I'm going. London, I say, the one in England, not Ohio. His face doesn't darken or cloud the way they say faces do. His eyes stay the same blue when he says, I'm right to get out. Either get away or load your gun. This year 2000 isn't going to be pretty. These cornfields will burn. Houses will be searched, he says, and I'll be dragged away like the rest. And he's going to get his wife and kids and keep driving.
Are progressive, their blog posts expressive, and always they'll claim that they'd really like to save the world and have put as much as $19.99 into a Kickstarter campaign to do that very thing as recently as Tuesday. Titanium Spork, and to be fair, many of them do more than that. Titanium Spork, the geek agenda is of no surrender on any type of higher and higher technology. Smart phones, smart drugs, smart plastics, smart cars, smart watches, working smarter, not harder, although often harder as well, on their cloud-enabled RSA encrypted virtual platform multi-tenant whateverscape, or sometimes just databases of cost-effective Mexican food. Do not blame us for the asymmetry of modern life. All we wanted was to build wonderful machines and to turn them loose to do their own things, to be of use and free at the point of need, or in any case so cheap that they are a gift to the world on the internet, in your phone, on every street corner. And all we want as our reward is a comment somewhere deep in the source code that says with mock pride and even more mocking humility that Bobby 63 was here. Oh yes, and the salary, the Western lifestyle, the dirt bike and the car. Titanium spork, so much for the world, and yet possibly there are possibilities. An internet cafe at the edge of the conflict, war correspondents post their stuff and a teenager busses tables for half a meal a day and the occasional human interest interview and all the bandwidth he can steal. At the end of the day, he emerges with 6 new ways of improving the ancient diesel generator. There are possibilities that somewhere sub-Saharan, a 13-year-old girl, finding the third-hand maths textbook that her brother left unfinished, climbs a tree and reads the whole thing in one sitting, squatting on the highest branch, and afterwards thinks, there's obviously so much more to this. Imagine her now. Imagine all the young people who may yet learn how to be geeks. They have not yet heard the promises of titanium and technology, of science and sporks, but she at least is listening now, as she stares speculatively at the far-off mountain peaks, at a tiny metallic twinkle, as if from some distant, shiny, wonderful object. Thank you. Then just to end, this is Diversity Fest, and I had to do a pretty much diversity poem. So this is about astronomy and cosmology and the fact that stars come in different colours, not stripes or paisley, but they do have spots. So our star is smallish and yellow, and every day when the sun comes up, that's what we get. Suppose one day a different star were to rise. What else might be different in the world that would illuminate? This is A Blue Star Rises, and who of us can say? A blue star rises, and who of us can say? Out by the horizon, electric blue ink, a sky uniquely annotated, dawning in its own way, and who of us can say what a day like this may mean? One star, bluish, low in the brightening sky. I watch you stir your tea, I watch you watch my eyes. We're drawing nearer, covertly, through a fall of hair. A blue star might rise unprecedented, just there in its own way on a day with the horizon not so far away. You tie your hair back firmly with a string. Out by the horizon, I greet you properly, a public display, what passes as normal. We're all unaliened, and our funny ways are strange no more. A blue star rises, and all unmanned, unwomaned, freshly peopled, we walk out hands held into the new world, bravely.
Thanks very much, Ian. Thank you. Very good what you said about science fiction there, you know. Alien, I remember Alien. You got 2 sets of teeth. Mind you, I've got 2 sets of teeth as well. I keep one in the glass next to my bed. Anyway, if you'd like to, you have a lot of teeth in the catalogue. I'd like to welcome to the stage, please, if I may, a Ruthie Adamson. Where are you, Ruthie? You're there hiding at the back. I saw you. Come this way. There we go. Now be very careful of that step on this microphone, because it's a trip hazard. I reported to TripAdvisor. There you go.
Hi everybody. So I've been introduced as Ruthie Adamson, but my stage name is Wonky Wordsmith. Wonky because of my delightfully deformed digits, and also wonky because I'm not sexually straight. And about that, I give you this. Old and grey and gay. Fear of receiving a queer bashing, thrashing due to homophobic hate made me a compromised queer chameleon who pretended to be straight to avoid abusive attention. So my lesbianism I didn't mention. Sexual orientation, alienation made me feel frustration, but anxieties about society's lesbian loathing, revulsion, painfully perpetuated my closet clinging compulsion. Hiding from homophobia caused closet claustrophobia, but for safety's sake, I was a fake who had to forsake sexuality, authenticity. So same-sex sexuality, visibility, was an impossibility for me, and sadly, I used to hide. Fast forward to today, and I am an out and proud gay, thanks to law in the UK, being on the LGBTQIA community's side, and my strong sense of queer pride, instilled in me by my worldwide queerkin family. And such solidarity means we can say to hell with anti-queer conformity, which thanks to queer camaraderie, we take in our stride. But for queers, golden years can cause tears, because some see being queer and old as a double whammy. But this prehistoric puff has had enough of confidence crisis guff. So over me, self-doubt has no clout. I reclaim and reframe and proudly proclaim each ageist and homophobic negative name in its vicious vocabulary society has for me. Quite simply, this battle axe bull dyke has learned to like a label when it doesn't disempower but enable, and so subvert potential hurt. Thus, I am an old dear who is queer. I am an old fart with a homo heart. I am an old bag who is a female fag. I am a hag in dykey drag, and despite my age being mature, I wear trendy queer couture. Those who are narrow of mind might find me to be mutton dressed as lesbian lamb, but I don't give a damn. So I won't get the hump just because society wants me to dress as a feminine frump, about which I couldn't care less, because I dress to impress. And an old boiler I may be, but I am bent, bold biddy, who wholeheartedly embraces her age and her homosexuality. So, although I am old and grey and gay, I wouldn't want to be any other way. And this crone queer is here to say, without a doubt, this old trout is out. Thank you. Now, the Hollywood Walk of Fame is where famous fingers leave long-lasting impressions, and my delightfully deformed digits are going to leave a long-lasting impression on you. From hand hiding to finger flaunting. The moment this unique finger freak was born, my fantastically formed fingers felt forlorn, for they met with society's scorn. When a meddling medic failed fulfilling their doctor's duty, whoever delivered this lovely, lopsided lady viewed me as a medical monstrosity, failing miserably to see not only symmetry, but also digit diversity is a thing of beauty. Initially, nubbin negativity didn't bother me, because being blissfully ignorant, my mini-mind couldn't find finger fault. I proudly painted my minute and ever so cute nails to happily highlight my disability details with pretty polish, a happy habit disableism would abolish, bringing my positive perspective to a halt with a jolt. The day I was taught that the value of my cute congenital condition was naught was when during play from my diminutive digits, playmates with frightened faces ran away due to finger-phobic fear. An adult there in charge of our care, instead of assisting my fleeing friends to make amends, gave me a churlish chiding, which made manifest many moons of heartbreaking hand-hiding, to which I distressingly did adhere. Similarly, in a movie about King Kong, in which he did no wrong, there's a scene in which he's portrayed as so obscene that those who saw him started to scream as they fearfully fled. The possibility of anybody scared of me revealing my digit difference meant me mentally reeling and finger concealing, because although I was foolish for feeling finger ghoulish, I got it in my head that life with digit dread was worse than being dead. My misshapen mishap made me too shy to clap. The thought of a handhold made my blood run cold. The thought of a handshake made me quake. The thought of giving a high five made me wish I wasn't alive. And even giving a wave would mean me being brave, which made me crave abnormality, anonymity for many a moon. The luxury of my simbrachydactyly fingers feeling free to enjoy liberty via visibility was an impossibility for me. So in life, my station was asymmetrical alienation via hand hiding, which was a must to avoid digit disgust. So to aesthetically assimilate and integrate, to avoid hand hate, became my fate, until there was a boon. As an opportunist, on the end of my right wrist, I recognise the hand of a disability activist. So I now adore my less is more quirky contour, and I am an anomaly ambassador for whom finger flaunting this deviant digit design of mine is a passion, No more must I endure digit disaster, since I learnt to master the art of taking my delightfully formed digits to my heart. And as a happy hand hybrid, I no longer keep my hand hid. So I'm no longer a slave to full finger fashion. And thankfully, I was spared the butchery of cosmetic surgery by my rejection of geometry conformity. Thanks to the disability pride movement, there's been an immeasurably immense improvement in my mind, and inspired by each crip comrade, I am no longer afraid, and my digit dismay is so yesterday. Thus, this wonderfully wonky woman can confidently say that out in the open, my delightfully deformed digits are here to stay. Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ruthie. Thank you very much. Right, oh here, would you welcome next up on stage? I've met her before at Theatre Delhi. She brought the roof down. Well, the roof was coming down anyway, wasn't it, Carol, when we were there? You don't recognise me now, do you?
No.
I thought you didn't. Would you welcome to the stage, please, Carol Rosa? Thank you very much.
Robson.
I've said it wrong, do you know? I've said everything wrong this afternoon. Everybody's name's gone wrong. You're right there, yeah?
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Right, I hope you can hear me okay. Oh, we're filling up a bit now. Is it raining? Okay. Oh, it's fabulous to be here. Trevor asked me for the last couple of years if I come and do something here, and I had to turn it down because I preferred my holidays instead. So let me get into it. I'm Carol Robson. I'm more well known as the Paranoid Party Poet as well. But I've got to say something straight off. I am in awe of the performance poets and artists that can stand up in front of an audience and remember, no book, a poem that's 5 or 6 minutes long. I think it's amazing. At my age, it takes me that long to remember why I'm fucking here. Anyway, is anybody okay if I say the F word? You're alright with that? There's no children, I usually ask. Anyway, I'm the paranoid party poet who tries exceedingly hard not to blow it. Living my life's ups and downs is just my regime, although I do like doing weird things with yogurt and whipped cream. My dreams and illusions will never be drab, because I'm from Rotherham, so today I have to be exceedingly bloody fab. Thank you. Yes, I've just mentioned Rotherham. Rotherham's my hometown, and I am proud of Rotherham. I've gone off in the last few. It was the Harms of Hate event, which was amazing. Nearly 600 school children have performed in front of from schools around Rotherham and teachers and etc. But I'll get on about that later because I'm going to do a poem called No Labels, which I specially wrote for the Harms of Hate event. Yeah, from Rotherham. I was shocked last year, May I think it was, I walked through the town on a Saturday night and how quiet it was. Town centres are not like they used to be. Walked through the town centre, Saturday night, a warm night. The Minster clock shines 10, as now police sirens become a distant fade, as earlier trunks with EDL language were removed from the pub that I'd just left. Town centre, Saturday night. Silence consumes, yet I hear distant voices on smoky puff pavements. Town centre, Saturday night. As I stand here on barren concrete, with no shadowy figures for cameras to catch. Empty benches except for the lone beer can of a previous tenant. Warm night, Saturday night. Still the silence runs through as I wait for tumbleweed to roll in from side streets to converge here in this square of disillusioned hopes and unfulfilled dreams of Jamie Oliver and even Mary Porter's. In this nightly ghost town where all have left, but yet it will be forever my hometown. Thank you. Can anybody remember the news years ago when we had Jamie Oliver coming in to teach everybody in Rotherham how to cook?
Yeah, it was definitely.
Yeah, it was after the sessions at Romarsh Comprehensive where the parents, because the kids hated the school dinners that much, were showing fish and chips and frying chips from the school fence.
That's where I worked.
And he opened the Ministry of Food in Rotherham. Does anybody know that it has been shut down?
Yeah.
On health and safety reasons?
No.
Yes, one of the reasons was giving it back. Okay, my book. Yeah, about 17, 18 years ago I had a really bad time and my GP referred me to the community mental health team and so I had to see a psychiatrist for the first time. So I sat with him for 40 minutes and he just said, "Carol, do you know it's all in your head?" I said, "No shit, Sherlock, I didn't come to see you about my knee, did I?" Well, they always tell that, don't they? It's in your head. Drifting in and out of sanity. Sanity of my own definition. Uses this as my retreat. Screwed up world. It's my escape. Drifting in and out of sanity. Don't touch me. I'm touched. That is your definition, not mine. My clarity. I know who I am. Drifting in and out of sanity. Understanding, please, do not mock. That is so easy for you to do, rather than just sit down and talk to me. Drifting in and out of sanity. Screwed up, locked up. You want to feed me drugs? Control me because I scare you. Drifting in and out of sanity. My punished brain for being different. Outspoken. You want me quiet. But my choices are being denied. Drifting in and out of sanity. It's time to listen to me. Understand. Talk to me. Treat me as an equal. Or really, does my genius frighten you? Thank you. Yeah, I have a disability and I go down to London quite a bit and another poet here who is openly gay and I do work with Age UK in London. I sit on their Sounding Services Board and I'm representing the LGBT community, especially around health and social care issues for older LGBT. And believe you me, there is some, as there are health and social care issues for everybody. And I'm not going to get on my political soapbox, but it's since 2010 it's been downhill for me with aqueduct and especially in local areas with cutbacks. It's about being hate London. Do honestly. Hate walking about in London. I actually don't believe I prefer New York. I get on the tube in New York and somebody will see me and get up and tell me to sit there. If you get on the tube in London, they'll look you up and down for 10 minutes before they think about asking you. But at that time, you've got off. I shrink away from this coldness, the coldness of an ordinary day. People's lives spent moving in herds, some people moving alone, like cold dummies. Self-consumed, need to be there like yesterday, never seeing, dismissing the frailness of others. People moving along with a fixed glare, their lives with a purpose that we do not know. Moving as robots, programmed lives, mobile phones attached to their ears or eyes glazed upon their screens, and their fingers are walking in rhythm to their feet. Frailness still moves among them, warily, but yet always alert. Keeping a sharp eye out for the hunter, because you are the prey to be knocked over by that robot that got sidetracked, the one that snarls at you. I never saw you. No words of sorry, they make it all your fault. I'm not invisible, I'm fecking real, for God's sakes. I might be old, I might be disabled, so I'm frail. Am I now just an easy target to be brushed aside like it's all my fault for being in your way? So listen, arsehole, walk in my frail shoes for one day. Experience the coldness and the blindness of the herd. Get used to it, because one day all this could be yours. Cheers. A couple of years ago, I just pulled that out. It's called stickers. Doesn't stick very well, but I will find it. A few years ago, I did a workshop in Manchester, and it was a women only writing workshop with the wonderful Claire Shaw, Maya Chowdhury, who was absolutely brilliant poet, and so too many to name. And I wrote this poem after that, and it comes out about, if any poets know, historically back in the day, poetry slams, which I'm not a big fan of, but poetry slams are male dominated. Run by men, started up by men, but what really made me happy was they were nearly always run by a woman. You know, we've had them coming through a lot. But it just seems to be a male dominated area. It's got better, it has got better. Women's spaces, spoken word. I'm here to challenge for you to listen. Hear my voice. Hear my inner soul. Shouting, you need to see me, you need to hear me. My voice is valuable. My space is valuable. This space is genderless. Value the voice. Value my words. It is my right to occupy. It is my right to share. My voice is to be heard. Value me. Value the person. I'm an equal person. I'm an equal voice. We gave you a voice. Well, respect ours. Thank you. I think I'm alright. Four more, but this one, I'm passionate about homeless people. And why people just seem to ignore. They don't want to know why they're there and the reasons. And I mentioned 2010, the general election, since the Tory party got in. And with austerity, there's more and more people finishing on the streets. Families are broken up. And there's not just men on the street, there's women on the streets. Now, my son-in-law is also ex-army, 18 years. It's shocking that from past wars, people think after the Second World War,